South Carolina. Let's talk about the Citrus Bowl, man. Let's talk about it. I mean, are we excited? And I'll go first before because I know you're gonna take it and you're gonna run with it. I'm excited about the bowl game that we got. Obviously, the Citrus Bowl being one of the more high profile bowl games you can get, especially as an SEC team. Them choosing us means a lot. Shows where we're at as a program. I mean, they could have picked between us, Bama, and Ole Miss. They chose the University of South Carolina, and I think they recognize what we recognize that this program is on the up and up. They played the best football of all the three teams this year, aside from the head to head that everybody would love to, bring up to us. And this team is something that like we have players that people want to see. Lenore Sellers is a player that people want to see. And I think getting him to this caliber of bowl game is very much astounding. I'm eager to hear the guys that decide to play and to sit out. From what it sounds like, Beam seems confident that they're going to have a lot of guys available for this game. I hope so. Obviously, guys are going to hit the transfer portal. Guys are going to have to then decide whether it's going to be advantageous for them to spend another month practicing with the team or training for the NFL draft and combines and everything of that nature. So I'm eager to see what group we put out there on the field. I'm also happy that a lot of these young guys get more practice, like Mazio Bennett gets more practice. Guys like Jerome Howell can get real touches because Nick Harbor, I got again guys that we're going to be leaning on next year. I want to see though. I would love to see a great month of growth from these guys, of extra reps and extra practice. And hopefully some of the seniors, these guys come back for one more hurrah to send us out on 10 wins instead of 9. I think the opportunity to go out on 10 wins here in South Carolina obviously hasn't happened a whole lot. It can etch your name in the history forever. Like this team has done something. This is one of the greatest seasons I've witnessed in Carolina football history. But you can etch it in stone if you get that 10th win and put the final bit of ink on the paper if you want to be really remembered in Carolina football.
Yeah, this game is important here. Beam did say in this press conference, there are some guys that want to play because they want that 10th win. And like you said, this will put you down in history. Typically when we get like 10 plus wins, that we did it 3 times in a row with Steve Spurrier. We finished top, in the top or whatever. So let's handle business, bro. Let's see what we can do. See where we finish at. I think we can probably finish about outside the top 10 a little bit, And Illinois is a very good team, same record as us. So this is gonna be a very physical game, man. The Big Ten, they typically play very physical ball, Midwest ball. So it's a great showing, bro. This is a very great showing. I'm excited for it. We'll be down in Orlando, right? Yeah, gonna be down there in Orlando. So man, I'm excited about it, bro. One more good game of Lenore's, bro, so he can show the world what we can look forward to in the next year. And I must ask, bro, how we feeling going into next year, bro? Like how you feeling about
I know we've had some talks, and obviously we know the defense is gonna be the biggest concern because Beam's gotta do a lot of work in terms of the portal to make this defense, I feel like, playable in the SEC. So that's a big question mark. And obviously the portal just opened up. So we'll have more information about that as the days go by. But offensively, I think the receiver group is gonna turn into the strongest group on this team come next year. And I know from what we've seen, many people will question that, but I tell you this: I believe Nick Harbor obviously is coming. I believe he's coming back to South Carolina, of course, and Mazio as well. And I believe the growth that you saw out of Nick toward the end of the year, like in those 6 weeks, things happened in those 6 weeks in this 6 week run, and guys got better. Nick Harbor's one of those guys that got better. He became one of those guys that became more reliable as we got down to the stretch of this, got down through the stretch of the season. You talk about the Missouri game. If we look at that game, he had big plays in that game that opened that thing up for us and gave us opportunity. Mazio, obviously, he was riddled with injury a little bit towards the end of the year. Didn't see as much as we saw him early in the year. So I think he probably hit a slump there as a freshman. I mean, that's to be expected, especially out of a true freshman. I think that is to be expected. Um, both of those guys coming back alongside with Lenore's, I think the growth out of those two will make this group hit leaps and bounds better than what we saw this past year. I think two guys that are going to be more comfortable at playing the position at this level. Two guys that are going to be with a staff that has proven to get guys better as the season goes along, because we saw guys again continuously elevate themselves as we got toward the end of the year. I even think a guy like Jared Brown is going to be much more equipped to play in this league next year if he decides to stay. There are a bunch of guys I'm excited about. I'm not really looking outside for any help in the receiver room. I think all the pieces that we need are inside the building right now.
You're right, and one of the, I don't know if you call him a key part, but uh, a special person that was part of his offense. Dowell Loggains. Dowell Loggains just took the job to Appalachian State, and I already said, I already went. I don't think Beam need to look too far on who the next OC need to be. That's just me. I know a lot of Gamecock fans want Buddy from UNLV. My question is, will that work in the SEC? That's Mountain West. Well, I don't know what the UNLV is. Mountain West or Pac-12? Not
Mountain
Pac-12.
West, Mountain
Mountain West.
West.
Will that work here in the SEC? So, how you feel about it, Shanti? I don't think we need to look too far for OC.
I think for continuity purposes, it would be very advantageous to elevate Mike Schuler. If he had as much influence on his offense as we think, and obviously that's been alluded to because they talk about this offense being a collaboration this past season. So these coaches that have been there obviously have had a hand in how the games were played. So to me, Mike Schuler would be the answer. I think for a guy that continues on along the lines of having an NFL guy coaching your team, coaching your quarterback, that obviously plays that will have him in a more professional style. I think it keeps everything a lot of the same, and then it also does allow for some changes, things that obviously Schuler would like to do that he maybe can't do because Dowell Loggains is still the head man in charge of that group. Um, I mean, kudos to Dowell Loggains. I think sidebar, aside from everything that we said, he and this group did improve as the season went along. And I do want to give kudos to him for that. I think there were a lot of things that he did do that he did bring to the table in terms of schematics that helped us out in some key games. I thought, Texas A&M game, I think for sure was one of those where I'm like, oh, that was a game where I really felt that his influence and his style of play calling and how he runs his offense definitely helped us out. So again, kudos to Dowell Loggains and credit to Shane Beamer for having multiple guys from his staffs go on to head coaching jobs, showing that hey, he's building quite the coaching tree. Pete Lembo had a great year at Buffalo. Those guys won 8 games, and he's breaking school records already in his
Oh,
first
wow.
year.
I didn't know that. My
Pete
bad.
Lembo,
I ain't know Buffalo won 8 games. Damn.
yeah. Hey man, shout out to Pete Lembo though, Carolina legend, brother. You are those are we're gonna get a chance to look back on the Beamer days as we continue to grow further and further, and as we continue to elevate. We'll look back on those early Beamer days and look back on what Pete Lembo and Beamer did playing that Beamer ball and how they won us some of those games, and we'll look back on it very fondly. But yeah, just to get back to the point, I do believe the answer is in house. I don't think you need to go too crazy. I don't think you need to overcomplicate this. Now, I understand vetting out all of your options. That's what good coaches do. That's the responsible thing to do is to vet out all the options. I believe the options are there within the building. Like I'm very much pro us right now. Just keep everything in house. Keep it how it's going. Maybe Bean can see it differently, and maybe we go somewhere else with it and try something different. But I don't know. I feel like keeping things the same for this group will be what would make this team better come next.
I'll probably say I can see the game versus Illinois is probably being might be like a tryout game. I can see a combination of Sean Elliott getting the sticks a little bit, and then Mike Schuler getting the sticks against Illinois. That'd be like kind of like a I can see like a maybe like a let's see what you got, and I think Mike Shula will hoop. I think a lot of offensive players love Mike Shula. Um, Obviously Lenoir as well. So let's see, bro. I mean, that's what I think. That's what I think. I think maybe Sean Elliott or Mike Shula may just might interview out. Let's see.
But I think Bean talked about it, and I want to say maybe his last pressure that he just did. Like they talked about how I think at the Gator Bowl a couple years ago, that was more of a when Satterfield took the job in Nebraska, that was more of a collaboration type effort that they had that night in the what was it, Jacksonville, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah,
We
Jackson.
were at for that. Yeah. So yeah, and so that I look for that to be the same here. I mean, I think a month with allowing these guys to work together and work on a game plan. I hope they put their best foot forward. That's really what I hope. I mean, I'm still looking. It cannot count at all. I'm still looking for this team to show progression, to still show me what we saw all year was real. Obviously, it was real because we've seen it over a certain amount of weeks, and a bowl game doesn't define your season, but I would really love to see this team capitalize on what we accomplished this year and cap it off the right way. But again, I mean, the hope for me is to elevate either Sean Elliott or Shula and have one and still obviously have that same level of collaboration um on that side of the ball. I think that's my ultimate goal. I think we're very much on the same page here. I don't really think we got to look too far out to figure out what's going to work